Hello, it's me, Tracy. Welcome to the podcast. Before we dive in, I need to let you know that applications are now open for my Freedom-Filled Mastermind 2026. It was previously known as the Inner Circle Mastermind, but has now evolved into something even more powerful. This is the mastermind women join to scale their memberships, coaching programs, and online courses, and to look after themselves in the process. It is where you will unlock greater capacity, a calmer nervous system, and a healthier body as you grow your lifestyle business. It is intimate, it is high level, and it is exclusively for 20 women only in 2026. You'll get the digital sales systems and processes to scale your freedom-filled business and life, a power circle that you can trust, more access to me, and 2 luxe 3-day fresh retreats hosted in Australia and Bali. We begin in January 2026, but applications are open right now, but not for too long. This round is going to be electric. If you know that your next level is calling you, go to freedomfilledmastermind.com right now to apply. Mums with Hustle podcast, episode 513.
Welcome to the Mums with Hustle podcast, where you'll discover everyday mum entrepreneurs killing it in their industry. Learn the secrets you can replicate to create your own success with your host, Tracy Harris.
You know, I'm a huge fan of reading, of studying. So when I say that there are some books that I love and recommend, I really do. And I'm not saying this because I've just read these books once and then got some wins and thought, oh yeah, what a clever read. How amazing. I'm recommending the books to you always that I've not just read, but I have studied and I have implemented into my business. And when I say studied, I mean I've read them multiple times, but I've taken the action steps. So I'm recommending them because I know that these books are good for it. Now, over the holiday period is a really good time of year to go and get yourself a new book, go and buy yourself something delicious, something that is going to, I'm not talking about like drinks and food, although maybe some of you are going to interpret it in that way. And hey, who am I to say, don't go make the whole thing a big beautiful romantic experience just for you. Go do it. But I mean the book being delicious. So maybe you're going to get some food, maybe you're going to get some drinks, maybe you're going to get a book and take yourself off somewhere nice to go and read it, or just block out time in your calendar to like actually read this book. Anyway, the book that I want to recommend to you today is Building a StoryBrand by Donald Miller. And I'm going to take you through the main concepts within this book, not to be a spoiler. Like if you're someone that's like, oh, I really don't want to know anything about it, Tracy, then just don't listen to anything else that I'm saying in this episode. But I feel like by teaching you the highlights or taking you through a bit of an outline of the concepts that he shares in this book, it's actually going to make your interpretation of the book, or enhance your learning rather, as you go through the book. All right. It may even help you decide, okay, yeah, I really want to get it, or nah, this book is not for me. So essentially, inside of this book, Donald Miller is not really teaching anything new. However, he's really exceptional at simplifying big concepts and distilling them down into a simplified message and framework. And so building a story brand really is a messaging and sales framework. And you and I are in the business of marketing and sales. So we really need to understand all of the elements of building a story brand, whether you execute on these through Donald's framework or through another means, these are all elements that you need to understand and you need to take to a mastery level if you do indeed want to get better at marketing and sales. So this is perfect for anyone that is a beginner. This is also perfect for anyone that has been in business for a while or even decades. I've been in business for 10 years, and every single time I take the time to read and master at a deeper level this work, I take my knowledge and my understanding to greater depths. All right. So the first part, or the first main part that you need to know about building a story brand, is that it's based on 7 key principles. Principle number 1 is that your customer is the hero and you are in the business of helping your customers win. I've said that over the past 10 years in so many different ways. There really is no other purpose for you and I to be in business than to help our people win. And so that means that they're the main character in the story. Okay. They are the hero in the story. Now, you need to know your ideal customer deeply. And this is why inside of my programs, I include that ideal customer work. It is in stage 1 of the Social Method Society for a reason. It's foundational. If you have not mastered this, everything else is going to be built on a shaky foundation in your business. So regularly visiting who is your ideal customer, and if you've been able to gather more information or insights, or maybe you've learned more about who they really are and who they're not, like coming back to home base and putting that into your own framework for yourself, your own brand. It needs to know who is the hero, who is this customer. And then you need to think about what is it that this hero wants. That is the place that you are leading them to, okay? What is it that they want? Because every character is a hero, and the hero wants something. This is an outcome that they desire, or it's a solution to a problem, or it's a thing that they want to be able to achieve. You need to know in plain words what it is that your person wants. Now, the second part is that this character who wants something experiences obstacles along the way. So you got your character, and then step 2 in the framework is that they come across some obstacles, or there are some problems, there are challenges. And inside the book, Donald goes on to explain that there are 3 types of problems that they encounter, or obstacles. There are the problems that are internal to the individual. So this is things like their mindset, their confidence. This is like internal world stuff, right? And then there's external. So that might be environmental factors or not having enough knowledge in a particular thing. Like, that's okay. You can go out and you can learn that thing. You can pay someone, you can get a mentor, you can go out and learn that thing, right? Or maybe you don't know how to create a sales page. That's okay. That's an external problem, which you can go out and solve for yourself. Okay. So there's internal problems, there's external problems, and then there's philosophical problems, like the way in which they view the world, worldview, philosophy, perspective, all of those sorts of things. Okay. So there's a hero who wants something. They encounter obstacles, and along the journey, they encounter a guide, which is you. You're the guide. But in order for them to recognize you as a guide, you need to be showing up with credibility, with trust, with authority. This is the role of our content marketing ecosystem. It's our Instagram, it's our emails, it's our podcasts, it's our in-person events that we're hosting, or however it is that you are connecting with people and building an audience. This is you showing people that you are the guide. You're a guide that is experienced in what your person is currently going through from where they've started to where they want to be. So this is where you also show your relatable experience. So in my circumstance, being able to say that I was 30 years old and I was a new mum and I returned to work and I realized that everything about what I wanted for myself and my family had completely changed the moment that I became a mum. I became crystal clear on the lifestyle that I wanted. I became crystal clear on my boundaries and on my values. And I began to really create a life by design. I quit my job. I started an online business and I invested in myself. I took myself from not knowing anything about online marketing and digital offer creation, coaching. Like I didn't know any of that. Those things were external problems. And my internal problem, I just felt like I was a teacher. I was stuck in my career as a teacher. I couldn't imagine getting out of it. I just didn't know how. All right. So internally, I felt like I was one sort of person. I really wanted to break free from that. Externally, I had all of these skills and these gaps in knowledge that I needed to learn. And so the guide emerged. Several guides emerged. People that had done this before, people that had this as their area of expertise, people that showed up online at the right place at the right time and they shared their relatable experience, their expertise, their trust building, their authority building, their credibility building content. And I saw those people as guides. Now, every effective guide has a plan. It's a plan that the hero can take and follow and overcome all of their obstacles with a limited amount of effort and sacrifice. It's made far easier by having you as the guide in their world. And you give them a plan. Now, if you are a coach, if you have a membership or a mentorship or an online course or a mastermind, your plan is your signature framework that you create. And inside of Freedom Filled Business and in my Freedom Filled Mastermind, my mentees have got a plan from me, because I'm their guide, to create their own frameworks as a plan so that they can be a guide to their people. So the plan and the guide piece is really important because it becomes your marketing toolkit. It becomes your big point of difference. You are the only one that has this plan, this framework, this unique methodology. So the plan is an important piece of the story brand. The next piece is your CTA. It's your call to action. This is when you actually sell. And selling, by the way, is just an invitation to your hero to invite them into success or to invite them to avoid failure. Because people are either motivated by success and achieving something, or there's a group of people that are more motivated by failure or not achieving something or not ever changing. So as I say that to you right now, even just thinking about yourself, like, oh, what motivates you to take action? Would it be if I was to speak to you about your success and what becomes possible and it's more aspirational? Or are you someone that is more motivated to avoid pain and failure and not changing at all? You've got to speak to these things for your audience as well, because your hero needs to hear the message. They need to know what they're either avoiding or what they're either being invited upwards and forwards into. Now, the next part is actually where a lot of people feel uncomfortable. And that is because it is about pointing out the pain and the cost of inaction. Because if the hero avoids taking these specific actions, then they risk facing the cost of inaction. of not changing. And it's about bringing them back into their pain, which is not where they want to be. And it's not because you're trying to be manipulative and slimy, but it's because you want them to enroll themselves into their solution. You want them to take up the invitation to change. You know, if someone, let's just say you have a program that helps people quit smoking for good and to never feel tempted to pick up a cigarette or a vape ever again. Now, and by the way, I know people that do this. Isn't it cool? Gosh, there's like niches for everything. What special work. So in that example, the cost of not quitting smoking, like you could come up with a series of categories, like obviously significant cost on your health, cost on your relationships potentially, as you have to avoid the group to go off and have your cigarette every single time. The cost of like financial cost of that, like how much is that habit costing you every single year? And where else could that money be directed? Could it be directed into improving relationships, like going out more with family and friends, or a holiday, or taking the kids more often to the movies and having fun? It's those sorts of things. So you're pointing out the cost of inaction. So it could be to do with their health. It could be to do with finances. It could be to do with relationships. It could be to do with quality of life. It could be to do with success in business. So we need to point that out. And then the final piece, step 7, is that the hero's journey ends in success. This is where we bring them back up emotionally into realizing the benefit-driven reasons to work with you or to purchase your product or to enroll in your membership or your course. This is where you show them what winning looks like, what's going to change for them in the most wonderful ways. Why should they say yes now and not in the future? As I think about my beautiful people, all of you, my heroes, like what becomes possible for you when you step into a higher ticket mentorship, it is that you save time, you save money from making unnecessary, costly mistakes. You save years of stress and anxiety in your body and in your belly as you second guess everything. You get to have an impact with your work and like finally make a difference. You get to build something that showcases your zone of genius, that creates a legacy, and that feels so good. You get to have fun while you're building it with people who get you. You get to build your confidence. You get to have a better lifestyle. All of these things become possible when you say yes. But some people are going to be inclined to delay all of that because they're not uncomfortable enough to say yes to themselves now. They'd rather sit in their pain because they're used to that and they're not so clear on the positive outcomes or of how investing in themselves or stepping into a container with me can actually help fast track them and let them have this delicious life that they've put on their vision board. Maybe they haven't spent enough time thinking about the cost of inaction, the cost of not changing, the cost of continuing to figure it out alone. So can you see how pointing these things out to people, it's not about shaming people. It's not about making people feel bad. It's about casting a reality over the situation for your ideal customer who is the hero who you want to see win. So I encourage you to take note of those 7 pieces. And I went over it so lightly. Donald Miller does an amazing job. Pick up the book, Building a Story Brand, read it or pop it in your ears as you go for a walk of a morning or of an evening. And if you are part of my programs or my community spaces, come in and share with us what you took away from the book, or if there was anything that was confusing to you, Let's talk it. Let's riff on it. Let's talk about it inside of the programs. And if there's something that really clicked for you, let's talk about that as well. So to recap, here are the 7 sections of the book. Okay, there's the hero, which is your customer, and they want something. There are the problems and the obstacles that they have to face. There's the guide that comes along, which is you. The guide who actually gives them the plan. That's your unique plan, process, methodology, strategy, system, framework. That's all the stuff that we create inside of Freedom Filled Business. And then there's your CTA, where you actually invite them with a specific call to action to buy a thing of yours that solves their problem. You're going to point out the cost of inaction, and you're also going to point out what the picture looks like when it ends in success. So they're the 7 main principles of the book. I hope that it helped. Whether you go get this book or not, I hope that this episode helped. But it is a beautiful time of year to sit and just think with more knowledge. Like, you've grown since the last time, like, you've done this work, you have grown. So going through doing this work annually at a minimum for each of your offers is something that I encourage you to do. I hope this episode was helpful. If you are looking for a guide to support you in building your digital business faster so that you can have this beautiful lifestyle and live your life by design. That's what I help people do. I help people exit their careers every single day to create a business of impact and a lifestyle that they love. So you can just email us, hello@mumswithhustle.com. If you are wanting to build your brand presence on Instagram, the best place for you is the Social Method Society. If you're also wanting to build a digital business, meaning online courses, memberships, masterminds, the best place for you is Freedom Filled Business. That comes with access to the Social Method Society. And if you are wanting to build that faster with more access to myself and with a smaller group of high-level women who also see each other twice a year with our beautiful Luxe retreats, then you're looking at the mastermind level. Just email hello@mumswithhustle.com and we can let you know which one is the best fit for you, and we can get you inside so that you can experience the changes in your business and the changes in your life, or risk staying the same. See what I did there? Okay, I'll see you next week on the podcast. I hope you love this one. Take care.